I'm Michael Garcia with the Hispanic Vote. We're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and so we're interviewing all the Hispanic elected officials and community leaders here. So I have the pleasure and honor of having the only Puerto Rican elected here in the county to a commission seat in Weston, Mary McPhee, Molina. So she's one of my favorite commissioners because I happen to be Puerto Rican. So, yeah, I'm a little biased. So we want to highlight all the Hispanic elected officials here in the county. The numbers are not as high as they should be. So that's why we're doing these interviews to highlight what they're doing in the community, highlight what other Hispanics are doing in the community to better the county and better our Hispanic people. So thank you for joining us.
Honestly, it's my honor to be here,
Yeah.
so thank you, I appreciate it.
So I let the cat out the bag. She's Puerto Rican. Normally I let them tell you, but I let the cat out the bag. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and how long you've been here. So.
Born and raised New York City, the two thickest accents combined, Brooklyn Bronx.
Okay.
My dad, born and raised in Puerto Rico,
Okay.
came to New York where he married and had us kids and raised us. We have a home in Puerto Rico where we go back regularly. And
Where in Puerto Rico?
Isabella.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's nice. And now you've been down here for how long? You've been in in Broward?
actually moved down in '91.
Okay.
So, yeah, Floridians for almost 30 years.
Okay. And now you live in Weston,
Yes.
and you are the one of the commissioners in
Yeah.
Weston. You're in your first term, correct?
I'm in my first term, half of my first term, November.
Okay. How is it being a commissioner?
It's fantastic because I actually have a vote and feel like I'm making a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now Weston is, I think, probably in Broward County is probably the only city. I think 50% of the residents are Hispanic in Weston, correct?
We believe we're at least 50% Hispanic. That's why this census is so important because we'll get better figures as to the percentages and the population, the demographics. So I really hope that everybody gets out there, fills out that census and turns it back.
Weston that has a heavily Venezuelan population, correct?
Yes.
But during our conversation, you said there's now a big influx of Puerto Ricans in Weston
Yeah,
as
we
well.
believe Puerto Ricans are the third largest Hispanic group in the city of Weston right now.
So what's the first one?
We have Venezuelans, then Colombians,
Okay.
and we believe Puerto Ricans.
Okay.
So, but the census, again, that's why the census is so important. It'll give us much better and accurate data
Okay.
for us to go on.
Why do you think there's a big influx of Puerto Ricans? Or because a lot of them leaving the island? Is it?
A lot of them leaving the island, and also Puerto Ricans leaving New York.
Okay.
And immigrating back down, migrating down to Florida. Yeah, so I think that that's making a difference, and who wouldn't want to live in Weston?
Okay.
It's the place to go.
It's a place to go. So a little bit about you. How many brothers and sisters you have?
I have 2 older brothers, 2 younger sisters, and a younger brother, the youngest, who passed away.
So 6 of you guys? Oh,
yes.
6. Okay, 6. They didn't have TVs in New York at that time, I guess. What is
Yes,
your
6 of them.
favorite Puerto Rican dish?
Oh my gosh.
Don't be like
It's
don't
probably
don't be like Judge Gonzalez that I said what's
No.
he's like I can't give you the best his best
No,
Dominican
I
dish.
have
Okay.
I have my favorite. It's mofongo.
Okay.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And the best is right there in Puerto Rico. I get off the airplane. There's a restaurant, coincidentally named Molina, right?
No relation.
No relation, but end up eating my mofongo before I get on the airplane. End up with my mofongo again.
Where do you get mofongo down here if you want?
Oh, my cousin actually makes some pretty
Okay,
good
so
mofongo down here.
So I'm
Louis.
gonna give you a spot, and I'm gonna give a free
Okay.
shout out to La Empanada Loca, which is Willie. He is in Oakland Park on Dixie Highway, just south of Commercial. It's called La Empanada Loca. He just expanded it. He just got the space next to him, and he's expanding they make some pretty good mofongo, and they make the trifongo.
I'll
But
have to try it.
I've taken quite a few people there, Puerto Ricans and others that are, because that is probably one of the best Puerto Rican places to eat food down here. So
I'll have to try it.
everybody, please check out La Empanada Loca.
Fantastic.
They have some good mofongo and good traditional Puerto Rican food there.
That's good to know.
And what's even more important about that, what's interesting about that is when you go into Willie's store, like all Puerto Ricans, he has the pictures of the Puerto Ricans. He has
Right.
Jennifer Lopez.
Love it.
He has Mark Anthony. He has all these guys, and then he has salsa dancing. But the most impressive is he has a picture and an autograph picture of Justice Sotomayor.
Wow.
So her mother comes there,
Oh.
and the
okay.
justice has been there at least once or twice to eat. So
Pretty neat.
so it's pretty impressive. So anybody
I definitely have to try it.
You definitely have to try. We'll go there one time. I've taken
was-
quite a few people there.
It was absolutely a culture shock moving to South Florida 30 years ago when there was absolutely no Puerto Rican food to be found. And
So that goes into my next question. Tell us a little bit about the difference when you moved down compared to now.
now, it's huge. Yes, you can find Puerto Rican restaurants. But moving here 30 years ago, and actually Weston still doesn't have a Puerto Rican restaurant. We have Colombian, Venezuelan,
All right, so
all types of Spanish food.
so
but
there we go.
I
there we
can't get
go.
my pastel or my mofongo right where I live. That's a problem.
There you go, Willie or someone else.
Maybe one in Weston.
There's the opportunity for any Puerto Ricans that you need a
Yes.
Puerto Rican restaurant in Weston, okay?
Also, running into somebody and finding out that they're Puerto Rican is now much more common than 30 years ago, which was just completely unheard of. So it's an interesting dynamic. It's interesting to see the city grow in 30 years, and as diverse as the city of Weston is, to see it become even more diverse is just so special.
In the city of Weston, you're the second commissioner of Puerto Rican descent. You're the
Yes.
first female because the first one was Angel
Gomez.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Angel Gomez was the first commissioner.
And his family's in the same area where my family's from on the island.
Okay. Tell us a little bit what's going on in the city of Weston. What are you guys doing? Good things, bad things, or things you're trying to address?
We just passed our budget.
Okay.
Millage rate staying the same.
Okay.
Have the lowest of 31 cities as far as our millage rate.
Okay.
So that's a positive. I guess like every other city in Broward County, we've been dealing with some and addressing BSO and racial issues.
Okay.
We're going through that. At rest of the country, we're dealing with pandemic issues. And we just went into phase 3.
Phase 3.
Waiting for the county and the city to rewrite our executive orders, once there's some definition clarified, hopefully by tomorrow. So basically, the city of Weston on a smaller microcosm is dealing with what the country deals with.
But the city of Weston is a little bit unique compared to the other cities because the city of Weston's a little bit more affluent. So you have the more affluent Hispanics, which is a good thing. It's a great thing to see affluent Hispanics, whether Colombian, Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, because the cities tends to be a little bit more affluent than other municipalities, which is a good thing. I mean, it's affluence is not a bad thing,
No,
right?
no, right.
So the city of Weston's a little bit more affluent than everyone else, and it's good because half of the residents are Hispanic.
At
So,
least.
at least,
Yeah.
and that-
Waiting on that census.
And that's a good thing. Showing Hispanics are doing well here in South Florida.
We believe our population is up to approximately 70,000 people. When I moved to Weston, we were someplace at around 10.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
incredible.
Wow. That's
It's incredible.
You guys do you have more growth or land to grow?
We really don't. Now it's really redeveloping. So,
Okay.
there's.
You don't have nothing else to build. You're just gonna redevelop property.
Yes, we're mainly at that point now in the city of Weston. So things are being considered and being brought forth on and off. depending on the situation or the project, they'll all be looked at individually and move forward with it.
You guys currently have what is it, 3 elections, or is it 3 seats or 2 seats?
3 seats
Three
are currently
in
open, yes,
November.
including the mayor,
Okay,
and 2 commission seats.
okay, so you're gonna be
November.
you're gonna see a significant change on the dais.
Yes, absolutely. There'll be 2 commissioners that are left.
So it's you and who's the other commissioner that's currently not running? It's
Jackie, yeah,
the
that's
pilot.
not running,
That's not running.
right,
He's the pilot, correct?
yes.
Yes,
Him
I
and myself are the only 2 that are not running currently. Our elections are in 2 years from now.
in 2 years
so
from now. Okay.
We're
So
in the
you're
middle of our first
so
term.
you're in the middle of your first term. Yeah. Do you guys have term limits in Weston?
2 4-year terms.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do.
Okay. So we talked about a little bit about how Weston was then and now, the county was then and now. Any messages for young Hispanic women that want to run?
Do it. Do not stop yourself. Do not look at the big picture. Take it step by step. Reach out to other Hispanics and women that you see that are leading in the community and ask questions, get involved. Take it step by step. That will get you to the position that you hopefully are looking, or your goal to get to.
And when you say do it, it's slowly, gradually.
Yeah.
Don't jump in and run,
Right,
but try to volunteer and
Absolutely, put in your time, educate yourself, get to understand what the issues are, know what's taking place in the community or for whatever political seat that you wanna run for. Understand it and build it up and go for it from there. But do not look at the big picture and scare yourself and back away from it, because it will give you the most voice.
So now I want to talk a little bit about your background, because obviously you're just not an elected official. Before you're an elected official, so give the people, and especially young Hispanic women, your background professionally that kind of fills you out and has allowed you to get to this point. What do you currently do?
We own a maintenance janitorial company.
Okay.
We also own a sidewalk replacement company.
Okay.
My background is in mediation for associations.
Okay.
But a lot of my background stems from being entrenched into the associations and the community, and being very involved with my children growing up, and watching everything that was taking place around me, wanting to make my area where I lived better for my kids, being a good example for the kids.
Okay.
And it stemmed from there. Get involved in everything you possibly can, and
How many
small
children?
businesses,
Oh.
very, very important.
Well, so you're a small business owner, which is important,
Absolutely.
which gives you a lot of flexibility and to do things, right?
And a perspective, a perception of what needs to take place, and then also a perception, a perspective of what's taking place in the community that really needs to be empowered and strengthened and
Okay.
supported.
So are you? Do you think young Hispanic women should venture out on being their own bosses, owning their own business? Is that something that you?
Yes. And it's interesting because I had this conversation recently about leadership. Is it inherent or grown? And I think it's a combination of both.
It's a combination.
So yes, Hispanic women, I think that it also starts in the household from when girls are younger,
Okay.
whether you're Hispanic or not, to know that you can do anything you want. You're just as strong in math, you're just as strong in science. You can lead and not be called all sorts of names.
Okay.
You can do it, you can make a difference. It's a matter of knowing it and working towards it.
How many children do you have?
I have 2, they're 10 years apart.
Okay.
One's an engineer, working for Tesla, and the other one's still going to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got another 4-year term. What's something that you want to accomplish in the city of Weston moving forward? It's something that hasn't been done, something that the city needs to,
It's a big question because there are many issues that I've been working on, and there's more issues that grow out of those issues.
Yeah.
But certainly, I started the first veterans group in the city of Weston, so
Okay.
Veterans of Weston.
Okay.
I wanna strengthen that. I'd love to see a monument supporting our first responders and our veterans, more veteran outreach in the city of Weston. I want Weston to be seen as a place to go that's completely veteran friendly. I'm a commissioner of the area of Bonaventure, so that area needed some work and updating, so I've been doing that for 2 years and we're still working on that area.
Okay.
I believe much more needs to happen with the Hispanic community and outreach with the Hispanic community. I've worked on making sure all of our robocalls are English and Spanish, which they weren't in the past. Also making sure that we're pushing the census as hard as possible. Outreach as far as registering people to vote. Where else do you have a stronger vote than in that voting booth?
Yeah.
Seniors need more programs. They also need better communication geared towards them.
Do you have a lot of seniors in Weston?
Oh yes, the Bonaventure area, we have a large population of seniors, but the communication is falling short because they're not using the technology the rest of Weston
Oh,
is
okay.
using, and the seniors are having a hard time with their main go-to is the TV, and
Okay.
we've been having some issues with internet.
Okay.
So we're working on all of those aspects, and hopefully in the next 2 years for my first term, a lot of that'll be condensed, and I'll be able to say, yeah, you know what, we got it done.
Okay. Well, Commissioner, we want to thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time.
Hispanic Vote is very positive, very strengthening organization, and I'm thankful for it.
We thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you.